So, you've decided to write a novel. Maybe you've been thinking about it for a long time, or maybe the idea just popped into your head today. Either way, you are probably already inundated with advice about how to do it. Everything from how to create interesting characters to how to structure your plot and how to craft delicious prose and even how to revise and sell your book. These are not those tips. The advice I have for you today is not about the craft of writing at all. What I'm talking about today is everything that goes around the craft of writing, the practical tips that will help prepare you physically and mentally for the work ahead, so that while you are writing, you can focus 100% on the story you are telling and not on everything else that goes around that work. Hi, I'm Stace, and this is Magic in Ink. I've been a professional writer and editor for 25 years, so I know something about the demands of writing, whether it's work I'm getting paid for or projects of my own. The life of a writer seems glamorous, but really it's a lot of sitting by yourself in front of your computer screen, trying to extract whatever is in your head or your heart or your soul and transform it into words on the page. Honestly, I can't imagine a better way to spend my life, but there is a toll. In this video, I'm going to share some practical tips from my own experience that will help you bear that toll a little bit better as you start off your own career as a writer. To start with, find somewhere comfortable to sit. Writing a novel can take a long time, so we want to be sure we're physically comfortable while we do it, so that we keep coming back to do the writing. It might be a desk chair or a dining room chair or your sofa, or maybe a cozy coffee shop or library. Sometimes we might find ourselves perched on a bar stool or bus seat while trying to squeeze some writing into our busy schedules, sure. But if we do too much writing in a position that results in a sore back or achy neck, we will start to associate writing with pain, and that's not the mindset we want. When we're youthful, awkward positions don't bother us as much. My daughter used to read with her legs on the sofa and her head down on the floor, and it never seemed to affect her love of reading. But believe me, this will change as we get older. We should also be sure to follow ergonomic practices as much as possible to protect our health. Make sure we have the right screen height, wrist position, keep our backs from hunching over. All of these are small adjustments we can make to ensure physical health. Number 2, stay hydrated. This is good advice for any activity. Coffee, tea, sparkling water, or other beverages helps keep our bodies and minds working their best. Some people find drinking alcohol makes them relax enough to ignore the inner editor that plagues so many of us, but it's probably a bad idea to link our writing practice with any kind of mind-altering substance. We can make hydration part of the ritual that helps put us in the writing mindset. A favorite beverage decanted into our favorite flagon can help put us in the right mood for creative exercise. Number 3, listen to music, or don't. Whether we listen to music or not will vary according to our personal tastes. Some people can't write with music on at all. Others create a very personalized playlist that helps them connect with the story on an emotional or maybe subconscious level. Personally, I like instrumental music in the background when I write. Nothing with vocals, or at least not vocals that I can understand and thus let them distract me. If it has a fantasy vibe to it, so much the better. We can use music, or even something like ambient white noise, not only to accent our creative mood, but to contribute to a distraction-free environment by masking noises and conversations around us. Those of us who have had to work in open offices or cube farms know how valuable noise-canceling headphones can be. Number 4, move. When we're working, it can be easy to forget to move. We get focused on the work or whatever online entertainment is distracting us from work, and before we know it, 3 hours have gone by and our butts are numb. To avoid injuries to our bodies, we can take short movement breaks every 30 to 60 minutes. These can include things like stretching, walking, dancing, yoga, anything that gets the blood flowing. It's not just good for our bodies, it's good for our creativity. Number 5, schedule time to write. Life can be demanding, and if we leave writing up to chance or whim, it will inevitably fall to the wayside. To keep that from happening, we can set a daily, weekly, or even monthly schedule for when and where we are going to write. This schedule will be different for each of us and depends on the unique demands of our own lives. But if we just put some thought into it ahead of time, we can each find a schedule that works for us. We also need to give ourselves time to think about writing. A lot of the work a writer does is in our heads. We need time to play with ideas and solve problems in the narrative. The ideal time for this kind of rumination is when our bodies are busy doing something else. Taking a shower, washing the dishes, going on a walk, driving home from work. But with the constant stream of content going into our heads, we sometimes miss our opportunities for our minds to just wander. So let's plan some free time for our brains. We'll turn off the TV and the podcast and just think, daydream, and play in our imaginations. Number 6, keep a writing journal or diary. Writing about what we're writing about feels like a trap, something that will eat into our writing time, but it can actually be a useful tool to help keep us on track. We can use a writing diary to monitor our progress, like recording word counts or time spent each day. Filling in squares on a habit tracker are a little visual marker that we've accomplished something. We can also keep notes about what we've been working on each writing session, especially thoughts and ideas that come up, things we want to go back and change, ideas for future scenes, random details we want to be sure to remember. And while we're at it, we can leave ourselves supportive notes and encouragement as we go. I'm my own biggest fan. Number 7, learn to finish the work. I don't have any quick tips or tricks for how to finish a novel. It's something I struggle with myself. A novel is a very long project, and along the way we will be tempted to quit dozens of times, to move on to another story or another hobby altogether. In fact, most people who start novels never finish them, never get to type the end, even on the first draft of their story. If we don't want to be one of those people, if we want to be someone who says, I wrote a book, then we have to figure out how to write through to the end and say, it's done. Only then can we move on to something else. And I promise, if I ever figure out the secret of how to learn this, I will come back and do another video about it. Number 8, read our work aloud. The most useful lesson I learned in my freshman English course was to read my work aloud. My professor graded all our papers in one-on-one sessions where I would read my essay and then we would discuss it. The simple act of reading my work aloud made me relate to my words and sentences in a completely different way. It made it much easier to recognize when I was writing gold and when I was writing doo-doo. We can take it a step further by reading our work into a recorder and playing it back. By doing this, we remove ourselves from the authorial perspective and engage with the story as the audience. It will really help us to know if our writing is working the way we think it is. Number 9, find a community of writers. Preferably, this will be a critique group. Nothing helps us become stronger writers than offering feedback on other writers' work. When we read someone else's in-progress manuscript and have to verbalize why it's working or not just, I like it or I don't like it, we hone our understanding of the craft and start internalizing all the lessons about writing we've been learning on our own. It's a version of that old teacher's secret. The best way to learn something is having to explain it to someone else. We'll also learn how to take feedback. If we intend to publish what we write, people will tell us what they think of it, good and bad. Having some experience with critique groups will help thicken our skin so that the bad comments don't hurt quite so much. Also, the fellowship of other writers is invaluable. Connecting with others who are doing the same thing we're doing, facing the same challenges and woes, the same joys and pleasures, will help buoy our spirits in what can be a very lonely process. Number 10. Don't get caught up in expert advice or following the rules. There is a ton of how-to advice out there about writing. Books, websites, videos, online courses. Some of it is great. Some of it is not great. Some of it is contradictory and confusing. It can be very easy to get overwhelmed by how much there is, and trying to absorb it all will only delay us from starting to write. But the truth is, there is only one way to learn how to write better, and that is to keep writing. Pen on the paper, fingers on the keyboard, page by page by page. Yes, the rules and advice are a place to start learning, but if everybody followed the rules strictly, there would be no innovation or art. Every novel would be exactly the same. Plus, sooner or later, we will run into a problem in our writing we can't find a solution for. No blog post or forum thread or how-to-write book that tells us how to fix it. At that point, we have to be able to trust our own writer's instincts to figure out how to find the answer. And the secret is that there is no right answer. The rules are guidelines, not oracles, and it's up to us to decide what to do on each page of our stories. Even if we pay a professional for recommendations, we still have to decide. We get to decide which advice we want to follow and which we will disregard. The only one with all the answers is the author. And that brings us to my final tip for new writers. Even if we get something wrong, we have to keep writing. We will make mistakes. We will write things we don't like. We'll write things our readers hate. But that's all part of the process of learning how to be a good writer. We will never become better writers if we don't keep writing. Don't worry about being perfect. We don't get to be perfect. All we can do is embrace the process, keep writing, and remember that page by page by page, we are becoming better at the craft of writing. Thank you for joining me here on Magic and Ink. Please like this video and comment if you have your own practical tip for new writers, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me about the craft of writing.